Hi, I'm Steve Jamison, Library Director, and in this video I want to talk to you about finding journal articles. Where do you go to find journal articles? There are a few different places you can go in biblical studies, and we have four main databases for that purpose. They are the Atla Religion database, New Testament abstracts, Old Testament abstracts, and religious and theological abstracts. All four of these allow you to search for articles based on a scripture citation. However, you'll probably find that Atla Religion is the one that you'll use the most, and then you can supplement your results from the others. So let's check out how to use these databases. I'm going to go to the library website and I'll click on the Databases/Journals tab of our search box. Here you can see listings of different databases by subject, or you can view the entire list by clicking View All Databases. I'm going to click on Religion and Theology, and here you'll see those four databases listed: Atla, NTA, OTA, RTA. So let's look at Atla today. Now it may be tempting to just type your scripture reference in this search box, but unfortunately the search engine doesn't really know how to handle scripture references properly. In particular, it does not handle verse ranges. So when you type in the range of verses 1 through 3, it doesn't really understand that verse 2 is part of that. However, there's a special tool to help you do a proper scripture search. To access the scripture search tool, I'll go into the sidebar and select the Atla Scripture Search. This will bring up a listing of all the books of the Bible, and here I can search for a particular book of the Bible. However, note that for any book of the Bible that has a first or the second, I'll have to type it in a particular way. For example, for 1 Corinthians, I would type in Corinthians, space, 1st. If I was looking for 2 Corinthians, I'd type in 2nd instead. Then I'll hit enter. Here I can expand 1 Corinthians. I'll find the chapter I'm interested in, say chapter 11, and then I'll choose my verses, say verses 2 through 16. Then I can add these to my search, and then I'll click search. As you look at the results, you can see that it gives you the title, the author, the journal in which it was published, and some other data. In addition, you'll see that many of these have the PDF of the article attached right here in the database, and I can click to see the full article just by clicking on that button. In case you don't see a PDF, there's an option to find full text at Covenant. When you click this link, it will take you to a service that checks our holdings in other databases, as well as our print collection, to see where we may have access to that article. In this case, you can see that it is available in another online source, and we also have it available in print. If you need to get a copy of an article in our print journals, you can click through to the library catalog to confirm that we have the exact issue that you need. And then you can click Request a Scan or Interlibrary Loan to get a copy of that article. You can also use the same link to request a copy of an article from another library in cases where we do not have print or electronic access. I just need to log in with my library account, and all the information about the article comes through into the request form. Now, if you noted that we have a print copy of that item, please check this box to indicate that we own this particular item. This will help us process this request for you more quickly. And then you can click I agree, submit this request, and the library staff will go to work getting a copy of that article for you. Now there is one more type of literature in the Atla Religion database that you should be aware of, and that is essays that are published in books. To look at these, I'll use the source type filter beneath the search bar to show just the essays in my search results. Now since these are published in books, you should not expect to find a PDF in the database. Instead, you can always click the Find Full Text at Covenant link. First, search the Covenant catalog to see if we have that book available. In this case, we do. Then you can choose Request, Scan, or Interlibrary Loan. Make sure it's set to request a chapter or essay from a book. Check off that Covenant owns the item if that is the case. Confirm that all information is correct, including the author, essay title, book title, and publication information, and then submit the request to get a copy of just that essay sent to you. Finally, you may come across in your research a reference to a journal article that you want to read. And so you'll ask, does the Covenant Library have access to that article? To find out, visit the library homepage and select the Databases/Journals tab again. Here you can search for access to a journal by journal title. So if I found a citation to Catholic Biblical Quarterly, I can search for access to that journal title and see where I can go to get that article. In this case, I can go to the Atla Religion database, some other databases, or a print collection, depending on the publication date of the issue containing the article. I'll click through into the Atla Religion database, browse for the year and volume that I need, and find my article. If you have any questions about accessing journal articles, please contact the library staff.